What's good, y'all? Welcome to Messy Roots Videos. I am super excited for you all to see one of our amazing videos where we are sharing within the Messy Roots Coaching Academy a group coaching session. In this group coaching session, our students are able to learn additional tools of what it looks like to be a coach, as well as get their coaching flavor, their coaching culture, right? And this is all BIPOC coaches working with each other. You know, the reason why we like to show these videos is one, there are very few BIPOC coaches that you're able to see on YouTube or any form of media. And so we want folks to be able to see how BIPOC coaches care for one another and how they are able to support their leaders. The second thing is that you're able to see how these coaches are able to take these tools and use them within their own fields. All three of these folks are principals, and they're able to help teachers, they're able to help their schools really grow by utilizing coaching in this unique way. So if you're interested, go ahead on and visit messyroots.org. You can literally join our membership, get involved, and I hope perhaps you join the Messy Roots Coaching Academy, where you're able to actually learn how to become a coach and you're able to receive a 100-hour coaching certificate. I am super excited for you to check out this video with Dr. Kalia Canada, Louise, and Jerome. This is about to literally be amazing. Let's go ahead and check out the video.
Thank you for hopping on this coaching call. We're going to start with some lion breaths. So just take a couple deep breaths. Let go of anything that's weighing on you as you breathe in. Start thinking about an intention for our time together. And with your last breath, let go of anything that's feeling heavy. And we're going to start with our roars and our growls. I want to hear something that's making you roar right now, where you're just killing the game and feeling good. And then what's something that's on your mind right now that's like a growl. And then we'll use that to kind of launch our coaching conversation. How does that sound?
That sounds good, Louis. Thank you very much.
All right, beautiful.
My roar is I'm stepping into a new building. I'm starting at a new school. I'm very excited. I had an opportunity to observe that school with the students, you know what I mean? And, going throughout the day. I'm moving back into the middle school realm. I was in elementary for a minute, so I'm excited to come back to the middle school, have those conversations. So that's my roar. A growl right now, though, is organization. You know what I mean? Organizing my time. So in Philadelphia, the assistant principals, we have the luxury, if you want to call it that, of being 10 months. So we're not on all year round. But I recently started a coaching program, and I'm also taking my pills courses. So I do have this summer off, but I do have a lot of things that I need to get done. And not having the structure of reporting to work every day, looking at my principal in the face every day as a check and balance. I have this all on my own now. So my roar would be, or my growl would be, setting myself up for success over this course of 6 weeks, so that I can get what I need to get accomplished from my coaching program done. And we have till September 24th. I would like to have it wrapped up by the first week in August, before I have to go back, to school and give my full attention back to my job. So yeah, that's it. That's my growl right there, man. Just really being intentional with my time, with this 6 weeks that I have, but also building in some time for myself.
Yes, beautiful.
So that I can rejuvenate, you know what I mean? So that when I do step into this new school building, they're getting everything, you know what I'm saying? They're getting my everything from day one.
So. Man, you're killing it. Like, first, legit, I want to applaud, like, so many of the things that I'm hearing. Moving to a middle school, there's a lot of optimism in there and just a lot of excitement. So I want to just hold on to that as we think about what your plan is for this summer. So it sounds like right now organization is the thing that you want to tackle real strong. And I'm hearing that, like, being at school you had the structure of the day-to-day with your principal and kind of got into a flow. And now with the summer, it's 100% up to you. And you kind of want some support thinking through what your flow should be so that you can prioritize getting your coaching hours in your goals by the first week in August, even though you have until the 24th of September. But getting that out the way, like making that the priority. So when you go back in the building, you can fully devote to having a really strong school year. Does that sound like I got it?
That sounds like you got it, Lewis. Absolutely.
Beautiful. I'm excited because organization is my jam. Okay. So I have like a lot of like strategies and tools and tricks that I could share. But I would love to hear first, like, why is it important for you right now to have your time organized? And what has worked for you in the past that you're thinking through right now?
Why it's important for me to structure and organize myself is because I also believe going into a new school, I understand, you know what I mean, that there's going to be new challenges. So if I already have an organizational, you know what I'm saying, system that I could transfer into the school year, I think that would be most beneficial for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Are you a digital guy, a agenda guy? Like what has worked for you in the past and what are you thinking about trying that we could kind of talk through?
So what has been successful for me is putting everything on my calendar. Like I live by the Google Calendar. Um, and I've been working with another coach who shared with me the boulders, rocks, pebbles, and sand analogy
I love it.
where he was sharing with me, you know, those things that take precedence are your boulders, and you schedule those first. And that's
Yes.
actually helped me really close out my year successfully using
Great.
boulders, rocks. Yeah. So that's something that I would like to continue in that space. But I'm definitely
Beautiful.
open to other, you know what I mean, other supports. But
No,
that's
no,
what
no. I
I've
like
been.
it. I think what's effective about that is being able to prioritize. Because the thing about time and task management, which is the thing that you're tackling right now, is that there's a bunch of things to do and you can just get them all done. But what I'm hearing from you is a lot of intentionality around making sure that the priorities live. And also for you, like I'm hearing like this need for like self-rejuvenation. It's the summer. Let me also make sure I give myself a little bit of me time so that when I launch into the school year, I can feel replenished and ready to go. So have you tried when you block things in your calendar? And I love that you use digital calendars. That's my jam too. Have you tried using color coordination to capture different things? Like this is my me time in green, or my family time, or my coaching time in yellow, or whatever picture or colors may be connected your organization that you think about building. But have you explored with using color as a way to block your time and see how much you're devoting to different priorities?
I have not. I have not color coded.
Would you
But
be open to try something like that?
absolutely,
Why do
absolutely.
you think that might be helpful when you think about your vision and your structure for the time? That's going to be pretty much on you to determine.
Because I know myself, I am visual. And that's why the Google Calendar, when I can see it, I know that it needs to get done. But color coding it will allow me to be able to look, to process at a glance. You know what I'm saying? I can look, all right, my day today's blocked out majority with meetings, or my day's blocked out majority with completing my pills courses, because that'll be a particular color. So no,
Right.
I like that. I like color coding. So I
Mario, can you make it so I can share my screen real quick? I want to share a resource that
Yes.
Jerome might be interested. So I want to show you something that I use with my coaching clients, which is called like Lion Wellness. What makes Feed the Lion coaching unique is that, I'm a principal and we could talk specifically about your role in a school, but I think it's important for you to think about you, the son, the partner, the brother, like the other identities that are important to you. So what I want to do is show you this picture. And as you think about your summer and as you think about the things that are going to live on your calendar, how much of it do you want to devote in terms of percentage of your time to your occupation? What percentage of your time do you want to devote to your health and fitness? If you want to get some workouts in or more sleep or more water, whatever it means to you. Why do you think, how could using this image along with color coordination, why might that be a good strategy? Or what are your thoughts on that strategy?
No, I like this. I like this wheel. This wheel it speaks to me because I have definitely taken an active active role in making sure my physical wellness is taken care of, my intellectual, my emotional. I've definitely made some life changes within the last couple weeks. So being able to put those put it into categories that I can see and monitor, I think are good. I do. I like your line with wellness wheel. I like.
Beautiful. I like it. I like that you like it, and I think it's gonna be good for you to not necessarily use this. You can use whatever, but think this idea of like when you think about your time, it could be helpful to map your ideal week or your ideal day, because you could either say like, I'm going to devote 1 day to coaching, 1 day to my family, 1 day to my fitness. Or you could say, I'm going to devote my mornings to my coaching, my noon time to my families. Like if you think about having lunch with a different member of your family, a different day, I think the fact that you have the summer, you do have a lot of freedom, which is kind of like crazy because it's like, oh my God, I could do whatever. But I want you to see how you could approach that with like vision setting, creativity, and really see it as an opportunity to feed multiple projects and priorities in a way that sounds in alignment with how you want to be before you start your year.
I appreciate that perspective, Lewis, really. And I think doing it daily is more realistic for me because again, this is something I want to be able to transition to into the school year. And I'm not going to be able to outline a particular day for one thing, but I can do it in time increments. So I'm
Yes.
going to do that similarly. I'm going to build that out starting this summer. So no, I
And it
like
sounds
that.
like you already use your Google Calendar. So maybe it's just about creating the buckets, the categories or the colors of the buckets that you want to always keep in mind, and then creating your ideal week. And then you can kind of move things around. What I love about digital calendars is you could like drag and drop. Something didn't happen, you just move it. But having that visual and that week at a glance could be really helpful. Is there someone in your around you, your family, your team that could be supportive as you think about taking on this project?
Yes, I do. I have a friend of mine who's very, very supportive. So I'm going to reach out to them.
Who?
Um,
What's her name?
uh, Her name's Andrea.
Okay, Andrea.
Yeah.
So, how do you think Andrea might be helpful? Like, can we get more specific around what support you think she might be able to give you, or maybe accountability?
So she's already a super organized person, which I try to surround myself with folks like that. She's
Yes.
super organized, but she's also um, someone that I spend time with, debriefing, just sharing ideas with. She's a high school counselor from
Beautiful.
our high school. So yeah, so we share some ideas and things. But yeah, I think she's going to be one that we can that can support me in this endeavor. We already have some things set up throughout the course of the summer, so I'm going to add this on like a stacking. I'm going to stack this on top of
Yeah.
things that we have already planned.
Beautiful. Is thinking about it. I don't know. I got the sense when you said stacking that it felt like more to do. What are your thoughts on like shit? I don't know what the question is here. Um, how are you feeling about like that being your next step?
I feel good because there are some things that I'm already consistently doing. There are habits that I'm doing every day.
Beautiful.
And again, with that flexibility of the summertime, I can add a habit on top of that. I can
Beautiful. How,
add a,
how how might you reward yourself when you, because I know that you're going to be hyper focused on your gaps and your opportunities to get better, right? That's what educators do, always like leveling it up. But it sounds like you've made a lot of growth with your organization and you're going to continue to. What are some ways that you might be able to like reward yourself or celebrate yourself as you continue growing in your um organizational flow?
we talked about in the beginning, you used the word intentionality. So I'm going to be intentional with scheduling those those fun times too. I'm going to make sure that I mean, it may not, I would like it to be specific to an activity or something, but it's definitely going to say, you know, fun time or my time or something along those lines. Speaking to the point where, tonight I'm headed out to a concert at the Dell. So I'm gonna go down there and enjoy that. It's for we have a Welcome America things that are, kicking off here in Philadelphia, but there's a free concert series that's going to be at the Dell tonight with a lot of good folks. So I can't wait to celebrate that. So, yep, intentionally. I intentionally put that on my calendar. That wasn't something that I've done in the past. But you know what? I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. This is important. So yes, scheduling those, Lewis. I'm going to make sure I schedule those. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Jerome. I want to go back to something that you said earlier. You said during the year you did well with organizing yourself, but now that it's summertime, you felt like you wanted to get better. What was the barrier that you had during the school year? Why is there a need to get better at it?
There were times where I had a schedule, but I would allow the day to dictate it. And I do understand that there are some situations that I have to handle, but I do have to get better at delegating. So and sticking to you know what I mean? There are certain parts of my schedule that I have to hold on to. And I didn't do that as well as I wanted to. So I would say that was a barrier for me.
Can you name some of the things that you have to hold on to that you can't delegate?
Um, Instructional observations, making sure that I'm getting in those classrooms, making sure that I'm seeing our teachers. I cannot delegate that. That's something that has to be done. Something that I can delegate, though, is a behavioral situation that comes up, which I come from the realm of dean, school climate. So, and as being an assistant principal, I always know it's going to land in my lap anyway. So I like to be in the know. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if I'm not there live, I can't, I thought, I didn't rely on folks' notes as well because I've been burned before. So that was like something that I had to work through as well. I had to trust people, you know what I mean? Let people do their job. But that was something that I would allow to mess up my flow.
Right. And I'm glad that you was able to acknowledge that you know the things that mess up your flow. So as you go into the school year, you could pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way that you could schedule the observations on Sunday or Friday? Schedule all the people you have to see in the times on the Google Calendar? Like,
Yes.
like be specific?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that something you've done before or?
Not consistently, but I have done it, but not consistently.
So something that I did that was helpful when I was at AP is on Sunday night, I would look at people's roster,
Mm-hmm.
figure out like what 5 classrooms can I get into all week. And I would schedule them in red because red means it's an emergency, it's hot off the press, right? So those are the things that I needed to do. So I scheduled those on Sunday or Friday, Sunday night or Friday before I left, saying, okay, I got to get into Kalia's room, Jerome's room, and these are the rooms for the week that I need to get into. Do you think that that's a good strategy for
No,
this?
I do. I do. I like that. Being intentional, and that way I can build off of it as well. And I can go back to my calendar and I can see, oh, I was in this classroom on this, you know what I mean? And also keep me honest with making sure everybody gets seen.
So to build on that, I'm glad you mentioned that. I also put all the teachers in a spreadsheet. And then every time I saw them, I put a check there because I want to make sure I'm going into everyone's classroom. So if I know that I didn't go into Spanish in a while, I'm like, oh, she only got one walkthrough. That's my priority for the next week.
I love that. I love that.
Would that be something that would be helpful?
Yes, definitely. More tools from our organizational tool belt. Definitely. Thank you.
I also want to talk about, you talk about intentional self-time.
Mhm.
Tell me the importance of that.
Um, I have now experienced what it feels like, looks like, um, to consistently put yourself last and put everybody else first. Um, when you're going through it, you don't realize it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing what you do. You know what I mean? But when you have a moment you know what I mean, by yourself and you're just processing it, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And to continue to sacrifice in every area of your life and not necessarily get a chance to be replenished and refilled is not good. So that's where I'm speaking from about, you know, that's why it's important for me to schedule that time, because I haven't in the past and I'm now living with those consequences.
Do you think that what is something that you neglected that you would like to put as a goal for yourself for this upcoming school year? Or maybe start that habit in the summer so it could flow all the way.
Me time. Having
And
that
what
me time.
and what does me time look like?
Me time looks like doing something for myself and not feeling guilty about it, whatever it might be. So I used to go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning because everybody in my house was sleeping still. And I didn't feel guilty because I wasn't taken away from the family, you know what I mean? The family unit. But I also understood, you know, mate, I don't like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's the summertime. I'm not doing that. So just having these conversations with people, you know what I'm saying? And letting them know, like, listen, this is the time that I'm, you know, and being okay with that and being okay with that. So I guess to roundabout your to answer your question in a roundabout way, now I'm at it, and my response would be boundaries, establishing boundaries.
Mhm. And I'm glad you said that. I'm reading a book called "And Setting Boundaries and Finding Your Peace," and that is something that I struggle with before, but actually, I think it's a good read. I could email you or put it in the chat, the author, or send it to you later on. But I also think that reading that, it's okay to do what you have to do and say, no, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm gonna give you a prime example. My husband and my daughters, they wanted to go for a walk. I was exhausted. I was like, no, y'all go without me. And I just sat there in silence and I didn't feel guilty, but I just took back my hour.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I took back my hour. And it was like, I didn't feel bad. I'm like, oh, y'all had fun? Good. I'm about tired of the park. You know what I mean? So it's just like not feeling guilty about it and
Mm.
also establishing that like with your partner, with your family, like
Mm.
saying it's okay. It's okay to go. Thank you, Louis. That it's okay to go. So I also think that um for our next session, I would like to see how you set up your calendar and how you're scheduling your self time and me time because it is more flexible over the summer. Would that be helpful?
Yes, um having somebody to hold me accountable for that, absolutely. And again, not that I know it's not punitive, but I do appreciate knowing, you know what, Dr. Canada is going to ask me about my calendar. Lewis is going to ask me about my calendar. And that's just not a bad thing, but I need that as a reminder. You know what I mean? Like, all right, let's block out this time so we can do this calendar, whether it be Sunday night, Sunday morning, you know what I mean? Because again, now I do have that time to do that. So no, absolutely.
We're going to be asking you also what you've been doing to feed yourself,
Mm.
right? Mind, spirit, and body,
Yes.
right? Tonight, you getting it at the Dell, right? You know what I mean? The Dell is the place to be. So you're getting it tonight at the Dell. So making sure you're plugging in those fun things while you're working over the summer. And
Hmm.
those things are sustainable in the fall as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Dr. Cannon, appreciate that.
Um,
Lewis, thank you, brother.
Yeah,
This is
like
awesome.
why do I don't need to be here. This is so good. Oh my God, this is so good. Dr. Cannon, let me send you your notes. I love this, right? Okay, so first, let's go to Jerome. How did you feel about the coaching conversation? Did you get what you needed to get out of it?
Absolutely. And
Mm,
just so that Lewis and Dr. Canada know, that's authentic, man. I was not, I mean, that's real. That's not a made up situation. So I appreciate that. And that's, I just want to be transparent, but that's how I'm utilizing this time. You know,
mhm,
each of my sessions, I'm coming in, I got plenty of stuff in my bag, you know
mhm,
what I'm saying?
mhm,
But no, I felt really good, Mario, really, really good. I like the way it was opened up.
mhm.
Uh, I understand now. Lewis's practice. It's all about the lion. You know what I mean? I saw that
Yep.
in his handout, but also how he opened the conversation with the roar and the growl.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that as well. Everything kind of it tied into what it is he does.
Yeah.
Um, I loved it. I loved it.
So good. Yeah. I would agree. I love that what we saw here was one, an authentic coachee that is great to coach. So Jerome, thank you for that. You're really good to coach because you're straightforward with how you're feeling and stuff. And we saw two different coaching styles that own their coaching style, right? So Louise, I'm somewhat in the middle of both, right? But Louise is the type that it's like let's do activity while we're in the coaching session, which is so dope. I love those type of coaches. My coach is that type of person. Is like, hey, I have this document. Would it be helpful for us to like do this now? Right. I love that. That was so good. And then with Dr. Canada coming in, allowing a lot of that reflection. And for her utilizing her own story as a way to serve as a resource. I thought was really, really good, right? Whereas like Louise, not so much, right? Like he literally shared more of like this tool and that tool. What was really strong was like how can what tool is actually the best like for you? Like, are you a digital person? Are you a physical like calendar type of person, right? So that I'm not giving you like the wrong resources. What was interesting is that Dr. Kalia kind of also fed onto that. One of the things that kind of Louise missed was a little bit going into deeper into the habits and how do we address the habit. But Dr. Canada actually like picked that up, right? Like, why didn't you do this during the school year? What was the reason behind that? And how can we make sure that we eliminate that issue so that when you are working this summer, but then not only that, going into the school year, you are going to be successful. What's great is that all of the resources, everything that you all provided, which is the most important and dope thing as a coach for you to do, is how can these resources be applicable post like this situation that he's currently going through, right? That's coaching a person. When you're coaching a person, you are able to utilize that coachee is able to utilize resources that go beyond just the situation. They can utilize these resources for other things that they're considering. But then not only that, you all also address the problem as well, right? And you all provided resources to help him to solve his problem. Again, this was really, really good. The only thing that I think that was matched in both is just more thinking time and pauses. But maybe that is your style, right? Like, and I think like that's something that quick action is. So like take that with a grain of salt. Just think about what that looks like though. But like those 3-second pauses literally does help for the coachee to be able to think about what was being said. I didn't feel like that Jerome struggled with needing more reflection time. So I didn't think it was that much of an issue. But maybe for somebody else, that fast pace might be a thing. So just be keenly aware of that. Any other thoughts come to mind before we close out this piece?
I think that I was going to ask you, was telling my experience okay? Uh,
Yes.
because I often do that because that's something that I don't know how to do sometimes to set boundaries.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ari will talk to me about the other day
Yeah,
about
I was coaching you on that.
boundaries or whatever like that. So I think I'm glad that you said that in my feedback.
hmm Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Put it in there or no?
I did. Yeah, I had.
In our form?
Yeah, you could put it in your form. Yeah, yeah. You could. You talk about my feedback. Put it in the form.
Yeah, am I supposed to copy what you put and put in
No,
the
you make your own. You tell me how you felt. How you feel
Okay.
about what you how you did. You know, I'm telling you how you feel. Now you do your own. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you asked, and I'm glad your answer was what it was, because I find myself doing the same when you work with people who are like in the shoes you've been or like struggling with the same thing. I'd be like, listen, I've been there. Like, here's my experience, and here's what I've learned. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it helps people connect, and it helps them be like, oh, okay, well, like I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one or whatever. So I'm glad that you shared. I'm glad that you asked. And I'm glad that Mario said it's okay, because I do it too. And sometimes I wonder if I'm like talking too much. But I ask the people like, was it helpful? And the people always say, yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
helpful. But other coaches can also help you.
Yep. Yeah. It seemed very helpful. If it was just like he was just constantly talking, it was not. It perhaps like say if it was irrelevant to the conversation, then okay, we need to change it. But it was super relevant to the conversation. It also builds trust. With your coachee because you're sharing your story. Part of what we do as Messi Roots coaches is that we do ask like we do share our story at the beginning, right? With our coachees. So like one of the good things is that they're probably able to connect what you just said in this coaching conversation to what you also shared within your story before.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Any
Oh,
final questions? Yes. One more time.
Jerome, what school you going to?
Jay Cook in Logan.
Oh, get it, get it.
Yeah, Jay Cook. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Who's at the Dell tonight?
What's that?
Who's at the Dell tonight?
Oh, it's a whole lineup. I gotta get it for you. Yeah, it's a whole lineup. It's actually
You could go when you're ready.
Good morning, Dr. Canada. How you feeling?
Excellent.
Excellent. Tell me about excellent. Why excellent today? What does excellent mean for Dr. Canada?
Well, I'm trying to make some extra money. And I got a lot of ideas, but probably not enough time to do it. So, yeah.
Okay. So you want extra money. You have these ideas, a lot of them, they're flowing, but it's about finding the time to make it happen.
Yes. Without my husband being on my back. Okay.
Got it. So in that vein, what would be most beneficial for you to discuss today?
I want to talk about this funeral business that I want to do.
Okay, this funeral business. There's a lot of aspects to a funeral. So what part of the business do you want to get into?
So just to give you some background, I had two friends that had parents pass away. So me and my girlfriend basically planned the whole funeral for both people. We worked the repast and did all that stuff. So I was like, oh, I'm good at this. So I was like, can I do this and get paid for it? So of course I wasn't going to charge my friends. So at the last funeral, one of the funeral home people was like, we need extra people. And he called me, and yesterday I did a shadow day, me and my girlfriend.
Mhm. How did the shadow day go?
Excellent.
Okay. Is this a funeral home that you would consider? So when you said you wanted to start your own funeral business, that's what I heard you say. Oh, no, you didn't say that. You said you want to earn extra money. You want to earn extra money. Let me back up. You never said start your own business. You said you want to earn extra money.
Mhm. But
So go
like
ahead.
a la carte funeral stuff, like obituaries, setting up for the repast, getting decorations, organizing the food and the chefs and all that stuff.
Okay. Which you already have experience in recently with the two funerals you planned with for your friends.
A deaconess at church, so I've worked plenty of funerals before. So yeah.
with all the ideas that were swirling around in Dr. Canada's head, how did you land upon this one? Why does this one speak to Dr. Canada so much?
I like helping people in times of need. I got that from my deceased father. He was always helping people. And I remember he would just help people all the time. So like he owned a property. He would let people stay free if they didn't have the money. He let people borrow his car. Like somebody totaled his car a week before he passed. It's like he was just always lending. So I really like to help people in need. And I also I spent a lot of money on my bank account, but no one knows but me and you guys and God and Mario. I don't have a joint account with my husband.
Got it. Okay. You said a lot there. Thank you very much, for sharing. I appreciate that. So you do like helping people in times of need.
Mm-hmm.
That was an area that the funeral business gravitated towards you. I also heard continuing your father's legacy.
Oh, I love my dad.
I heard that. I heard that in your sharing. You didn't use the word legacy, but you talked a lot about of the things that your dad has done for other people, and you getting into this space is kind of carrying that forward in a way. Am I right with that?
Yep.
Building on your time and as shadowing the funeral director, were there some things that came up, some areas of that you enjoyed, and were there some areas of need? Can we
I,
talk about what you observed during the funeral day? I'm sorry, during the observation day at the funeral, the shadow day.
uh, it's really like customer service because somebody is experiencing their loved one for the last time and making sure the experience is great. So customer service is something that they like really lean upon
Okay.
and and that I could provide.
So you share with me why this is important to you. You know what I mean? You share with me the what it is that you want to do, provide that customer service for families that are going through a very, very difficult time. Um, you talked about the a la carte business. So this is not something that you're going to, take on in its entirety, but you're open to, supporting in areas that you feel that you're strong in and can be that support.
Mhm.
Um, what would you like to see happen from your shadow day? What would you like to see come of that?
To be honest, I'll probably put one of my girlfriends on who doesn't get paid as much as me. And she was thinking about getting a night job. And I think that that would be too much for her health. So I did give the funeral director her number because I really don't need the money, to be honest. I would like to have the extra money to put back in my account, but my girlfriend needs it more than me.
I appreciate you sharing that. And there was an emotional shift that happened right there. I sensed it. I sensed it. It went from I need to replenish my bank account because of my spending habits and things. But I also want to continue in my dad's legacy. I want to continue to help people. Um, but ultimately, this opportunity that you shadowed with your girlfriend, you realize, again, in the vein of helping people, you're not only helping the funeral director, but you're helping your girlfriend as well by providing an opportunity for much needed income as opposed maybe to cover expenses and not necessarily wants.
Right.
Is that what I'm hearing? So I saw that shift from excitement, like I'm getting all this new money. You know what I'm saying? Like that was your motivation initially. But as we talked through it and we sorted it out, we got to what it really means to you. And that's being a servant of people.
Yeah, because The funny thing is that she never told me she was filling out for a night job.
Mm.
I called her. I was like, "Oh, I got a perfect job for us." And she was like, "What is it?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just filled out for a night job." I was like, "You can't work a night job." I said, "You have a little baby." You know what I mean? Not little, but 5. And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna put you on." So I'd rather like put her on and my other girlfriend. And then if I really need to do it, I know I can do it. But I'd rather put them on.
I think that's phenomenal. I do. I think that's I so what we started out with, so going back to your original when we introduced the stuff about earning extra money. So you talked about multiple ideas. So it looks like the funeral business one is beginning to take off. Is there another opportunity? Like you said, you can do that when you want to do it. Is there another opportunity that is calling you right now, or it's about supporting what you already have gotten into?
Well, I could do my coaching and charge people after September. So I'm interested in that. But it comes down to self-discipline, for real, for real. So it comes down to, because if I discipline my spending, then um I won't be having this problem, right?
Okay. That was a shift. That was another shift. So it's there's not so we and in the coaching we talk about the person and the problem,
Mhm.
right? So you just shared that personally you feel like the problem is self-discipline around your spending, which would also support you with your need to have to earn more money. You know what I'm saying? If we build around the self-discipline part,
Mhm.
considering the coaching business you shared, it can take off in September, at the end of September. It's only the beginning of end of June, beginning of July now. So we have July, August. What would self-discipline for Dr. Canada look like? Financial self-discipline.
Getting on a budget.
Is that something you've utilized in the past, the financial budget?
Hey, I did. I utilized that in the past and I saved lots of money.
Okay. And why did you deviate from the budget, or why are you no longer sticking to the budget?
I didn't feel like it.
There you go.
I'm not doing this no more. You know why? Because no, for real, I really saved up the money that I needed. So I was like, I don't need to do this. And this is something that I'm glad you brought this up, because this is one of the things that I take for granted that I have to get serious about this week. I take for granted that I could save money, that I could discipline myself when I want to. So that's why I haven't lost my weight yet, right? Because I'm like, I lost weight before. I know what to do. I gotta go in the gym, run, da 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 da. So I take all those things for granted because I did them before. And maybe I'm not taking into account that I'm older and it may take me longer to accomplish those things.
Self-discipline. So, and I think that that's leaking back to where you were talking about earlier in our conversation about the time. You
Yes,
said needing the time. So, or not necessarily needing the time, but I would say being more intentional with the time. Because
yes,
you know what you need to do. Like you
yeah,
just said, you know how to save money. And then it kind of leaked into your previous experience with losing weight. You said, I know how to lose weight. You know what I mean? A snapback. You know, so you just got to get back in the gym. You know what
right.
I'm saying? Get back in the gym. Um, so around the self-discipline and being intentional with your time, what are some strategies that you've used in the past to discipline yourself around your time?
Um, I was scheduled the days that I was going to work out. So I am a person that gets up in the morning, when my family is asleep, to walk. So I did that on Monday. So I lay out my 3 outfits, workout outfits for the week. And then I do that on Sunday. And then I think in my head what days are good days to work out. And then I just go work out.
I like that.
I actually love to work out. It doesn't show. You'll see it next year, but I do.
So to build on that though, Dr. Canada, I believe you love to work out because I think you're goal oriented. You just talked about you can set a financial goal and you're going to do everything that you need to meet that. And you said once you met that financial goal, you were done with it. You put it to the side because you met that goal, and now it's on to, what I mean, we going back to KOP. We gonna hit up that Gucci store again. We gonna hit up that Versace store again.
Gucci store. That's
Yeah.
the
I see the wrap. I see the wrap. It's beautiful. I see the wrap. But that's okay because like you said, you set financial goals for yourself.
Mhm.
So going back to the weight loss, like you said, putting out your 3 outfits, again, that's all time management. But
Mhm.
also, I think it's linked to a habit that you already are strong in, and that is setting and meeting goals.
That's correct.
Setting and meeting goals.
All right. It's just so many places I could go with this. So I'm gonna ask you a question and share a resource, and you tell me where you want to go, Dr. Canada. So we could explore ways to make more money and just brainstorm some potential ideas and drop that down. I like the coaching idea. I like making money, so we could explore what that could look like. I also heard a little bit about like conscious spending, like what it would look like for you to be in a really good conscious spending space, which means creating a budget that doesn't feel so restrictive that you can stick to it, right? 'Cause maybe you had like a really tight budget to make a certain money, and then once you made it, you were like, oh, now I can breathe. What would like a new budget look like that does have a little bit of wiggle, breathe room? We could like talk through that and maybe create some of that, or we could talk about like creating your ideal week at a glance that incorporates your workout, your like what sounds to you like where you want to go for the second half of this coaching conversation.
I think creating a schedule.
Creating the schedule.
Mhm.
Beautiful. When you think about your schedule right now, are you digital? Do you lay it out? Like what's your current scheduling system look like? What do you love about it?
Use my Google Calendar.
And in your Google Calendar, you have all the things like work, workout, personal, or just work. Do you have all of them in one place, or do you have multiple calendars?
I have one calendar, and then I'll put it in a calendar like my workout stuff and other stuff. Everything is in there.
Okay. Question: is everything currently, are the things there? You just gotta do them, or do you need to take a moment to like recreate a calendar for the next couple of weeks?
So I need to recreate a calendar for the next couple of weeks.
Okay, beautiful. What support will be helpful with that? Like, is this something like you're a bomb principal, you do priority setting, you create master schedules? Is this something that you just got to sit down and do, or is it something that I can help talk you through or give you some resources to help?
I think that I just got to sit down and do. I think one of my problems is that I sometimes take on stuff that I don't need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about earning extra money. So I teach a class online, and I also teach at Upward Bound for the summertime at Temple.
Got you.
So, but that's kind of like give back to the community kind of thing because they don't pay you a lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
like 2 hours only Mondays and Tuesdays. But that is time consuming because I have to keep
Yes.
from my
Do
house.
you want to add, when you think about your ideal week at a glance, do you think there's opportunities to add more things to make more money, or do you think you rather, because I want to challenge you as someone that you already said you make good money as a principal, I can relate, like we're okay, more is good and more is welcome, Jesus, but also we good. So when you think about your time, what would you do with more money? Like if you have more money, it would be to do what? Like,
Oh,
Mhm.
I'm glad you said that. For me, I think that saving money is important. Um, because I think if there was like an emergency, I know I could depend on my husband, but I don't have my father to depend on.
Got it. So it
So
sounds like having a good financial security blanket is just gonna make you feel good. And you had it and you kind of dipped into it, so you gotta fill it back up.
yes.
Okay. I have an idea that came to mind. You let me know. So obviously, if you work with Feed the Lion, you would already known like these lion habits that we use to kind of like check in on ourselves and our leadership and our wellness. My offering, and you let me know how you think is so it sounds like you're gonna create some train your lion time, some like fitness time in your schedule.
Mhm.
And it sounds like you have a pretty clear vision around like what you want your time to look like. I'm wondering if you have like a weekly time in your schedule that's like a me time for you to check in with yourself, like 1 hour every week that is just a sacred time for you. And if in that hour you could do two things. One, look at your schedule for the upcoming week and tweak it to make sure that it has all the things that you want. And I'm wondering that if in that hour you can do some budgeting, some conscious spending reflection work. I have found it really hard to be like, go make a budget and stick to it as a one time thing. But if you have a time in your schedule, maybe it's Sunday or maybe it's Monday, you think about your week where you're just checking in on your schedule, but also your relationship with your money and your finances, it could be really worthwhile.
Mhm.
How does that sound as like a strategy that you might be willing to try?
I like that. I like that checking in. I don't think I check in with myself. I think spiritually, I check in with myself and I can identify things that I want to get better at. But I don't think I check in with myself when it comes to like, all right, I only worked out. I said I was going to work out 3 days. I only did one. So
Mm,
what happened? Did I go to sleep?
yes.
Like, so I think that would be helpful for me to check in. And I think I would probably do that on Friday.
Okay, so I'm getting ideas because I'm kind of like connecting. What time on Fridays?
I think I would do it. So I'm a Seventh day Adventist. So the Sabbath is when the sun sets.
Okay.
Maybe after the sun sets, I can do it because usually my Fridays consist on getting 3 platters of oxtails.
Sounds delicious.
As my oldest daughter is home, I
Mm.
get 3. If she's not, I get 2. Me and my husband, and my daughter doesn't like, my youngest one doesn't like oxtails. We watch 2 shows that we like, and then usually then I'm like, okay,
Me
thinking
moment.
about myself. Like, all right, I watch
Yes,
shows with my husband. It's over. Dinner, bye. I'm upstairs. You know what I mean? Like, I have nothing else. You
I
know what I
love
mean?
it. I love it. So it sounds like I'm envisioning on Fridays, you have your family time, your emotional wellness, you're like working on different aspects of your like, overall lion wellness. And then when that sun sets and the pride settles, you're gonna have that moment for you and your queendom to think about how you're handling your week, how you're handling your finances, and how you're doing in terms of your workouts. I'm hearing like three things that you should check in with yourself. And I know you're a dope coach. So it sounds like you just need to have a self-coaching moment or a self-coaching session where you're doing like some priority checking on three things. Dr. Canada, how did I do with training my lion this week? How were my workouts? Did I do the thing? Did I not do the thing? Check, not check. How did I do with my coin? Am I good? Am I spending? Am I where I want to be? And then how am I doing overall with my time? And if you have your weekly moment on Fridays when the sun sets where you're just checking on those three things, what will be the impact of that?
I think that'll help me restructure the week and to be more disciplined. Because I can be more disciplined on things that I like. Um, and I like to work out. I don't know why I'm not. Well, I do know why. I have like a little foot injury thing going on. So I got these arches that's custom made arches that was about $400,
Me too.
but
500.
they didn't come in yet.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of
So it
prohibitive
sounds like a next step is to call them and be like, where my $400 orthopedic special arches at?
because I need those to run because I lose weight
Okay.
running. So
Can
if
you
my
get those by Friday? Do you think that, well, it's Friday today? Do you think by next week Friday you could call them, see
they
what's up?
called me yesterday and canceled my appointment, said they're not there yet.
Got
Mm.
you.
So
Okay.
when I was on my way out the door, they called me and they was like, "Don't come, Dr. Canada. They're not
Got
ready."
it. They're not ready. Okay. But
Mm.
hopefully by next week Friday, assuming our next coaching call, I'm gonna ask you where your arch is at and how that's going to make sure your feet are good. I can relate as a flat-footed person. I be going through it. And then how can you make this fun though? Like, I don't want this to feel like, oh Lord, I gotta go check in with myself and do my homework. Like, how can you get yourself in the flow? Can you make this like an O3 agenda with yourself? Like, how can you tap into your strengths and your vibe that I know you got? And when you think about how you run your school.
I think it's going to be fun to check in with myself, and because it's really for me to be self-reflective and intentional. So
Yes.
really like, and I also got to stop being so arrogant. Like, oh, I could lose the weight. I could lose it at any time. I really just like, I think I got an idea. I think that I set a goal for losing weight, and then when I lose weight, I get a something that I really want.
Come on, connecting it. Yes.
Looking at the a old bag, but everyone has like the never full Louis Vuitton bag, wow, or whatever like that. So I was like, so maybe if I lose the weight by September that I want, I could treat
Okay.
myself.
Okay. I'm loving it. It sounds like you're leveraging your goal orientation and you know incentives work and you know you want the things that you want and you deserve them because you work hella hard. But instead of just being able to get them on a whim or when you're feeling emotional, I just want to love on myself and let me go shopping. You want to make it more structured so you can be like, let me do the thing that I know I can do and want to hit that thing, reward myself. Beautiful. What support would you need to get this up and running? Like for real, for real? Or do you know that you just got it?
I think I have it. I think that my husband does say I spend a lot. So sometimes I leave the stuff in the car. Then when he's not there, I just take the stuff in and then pull it out or whatever. So he doesn't really complain about it because he's like, it's your money. He's like, you're rich. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? He always just talking smack. Um, so I think that I could ask my friend Nicole
Come on, Nicole.
to hold me accountable.
And Nicole's gonna hold you accountable to what exactly?
You can hold me accountable for the spending and for the exercising. Cause she
Okay.
usually texts me if I say I'm working out 3 days, she'll text me in the morning, like, all right, you out there? And I'm like, yes.
Let's go. I'm glad you want. I personally always rely on a workout partner. And as I'm getting older, I'm getting better at myself. But in my young days after school, I have my accountability buddy. Is there someone that could be an accountability buddy, or do you like working out by yourself?
I like working out by myself.
Got it. So she's more just gonna make sure that it happens.
Yep. Because she lives
Okay.
very different. And because I have the baby, my workout is like different. Like I gotta
Got
go
you. Got you.
in the morning, but she's not married or anything. So she could go whenever she wants. I remember those days. I've
Dr.
been,
Canada.
but I remember those single days.
Mm.
Okay. I would love to close out with asking you three questions. I don't know if we have the time, or you let me know. The first one is what became clearer for you today as a result of our coaching conversation? You can include the conversation with Jerome as well.
I think that I really need to stop being so greedy and to really just like if I don't have time to work no funeral. Like I just my husband just looks at me like I'm crazy. But I think it's having a way to make extra money, but that's not the problem. The problem is my discipline with spending.
Mm, mm,
So I really was able to connect with that. I really connected with like putting my girlfriend on to it. Like I'm gonna put y'all on. And then if y'all need me, I make, they
yeah.
pay 25 per funeral.
Mm.
So I'm like, I'll let them eat. And then if they really need the top dog, then I'll come in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I love that.
I also think that checking in with myself, because I check in with myself spiritually. Like when I do something that I know, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that to my husband. I should have kept that. You know what I mean? But I don't check in with myself with the other stuff. Like as far as like,
And it sounds like you check in with yourself when something happens, oh, pause, let me, before I react or whatever, like, I have that. But my push and my offering is having like a moment that becomes a habit that's like a Dr. Canada time. And what you check in with yourself might change, but like a moment where you're checking on the things that you're working on. And right now we're focusing on the connection between spending and fitness. But maybe after you master that or you're in a good space, this can be the space where you check in on your coaching business. Like Friday night when the lights go down, that's your moment to explore your side hustles.
I like it.
Beautiful. Was there anything that was particularly helpful in our coaching conversation?
Just being able to talk about my next steps.
Okay, beautiful. And then my last question is, what are your next steps or commitments between this call and our next call, just so we can make sure that I can also hold you accountable?
So next call, I will be scheduling my 3 to 4 times a week workout. I
Laying the
also,
clothes out on Sunday, the
right,
outfits.
yeah, so I lay my outfits out. I need to check and see where my arches are at. Because if I hit my arches, I could lose weight quicker because I like to run my weight off.
Yes,
But I can't do it without it anymore. So I just been walking, but walking is different from running for most people.
yes.
I'm used to running 4 miles a day. Just
Wow, let's get it.
so now that I'm older and have a baby, I could probably do 3 every other day.
Yes.
Um, I also need to check in on myself about spending. And I just want to say something. When I spend money, it's not just for me, it's for everybody.
Mm.
Everybody in
Zero
the
judgment, love. I know you're a giver and your heart. And but the other thing that came up for me, there's a whole nother coaching conversation, but sometimes I get like vibes, is that like because we're giving, 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 giving in our roles and in our spirit, those shopping moments are like, can I just refill my bucket? Like, please. So I'm wondering if there are other ways you can fill your bucket throughout your week and throughout your life so that you don't really need to like go get that bag to feel a certain way. But that's like we'll explore that. If there's connections there, I might be completely wrong. But for me, when I make emotional like things, is because I need a moment to just like put me first. And when I'm putting myself first in other ways throughout, I feel like I need less of those moments, or they're a little bit more controlled.
Yeah, I think for me it's just being greedy, like, oh, like I don't need to have it, but I want it. Uh, So I just be like, oh, I'm going to get this, So
I
about
love it. No judgment. No
yeah,
judgment. We're all perfectly imperfect and working on our own things. And I bet you worked your ass to become Dr. Canada, who can afford a hundred. I don't know the bags. I don't even know how much they cost, but they're up there. Um, and I also don't want you to beat yourself up about the decisions that you're making. You can still focus on your growth without beating yourself up.
yep. All right, Mario's back.
Give yourselves a round of applause. Such a great second half. Yet again, I mean, this is so good. You are like, yeah, Louise, I'll share your feedback so that you could get it before we close out. And this one is a little bit shorter, but Dr. Canada, what were your kind of like thoughts about your coaching session? Did you get what you needed to get out of it?
Yeah, I'll just give up on my funeral thug. I'm gonna put my girlfriend on. I don't have time for it.
That's real.
I don't have time for it. I just get so excited.
Mm.
I'm put my girlfriends on. I'm gonna let them eat. I'm gonna let them eat, and then maybe if I
But maybe
want
a
to,
little consulting fee. Maybe they need a little help. They slide you something, or maybe
I'll
there's
let
ways.
I'll let them eat off of it. I'll get some. I'll let them eat. And then
Uh,
if I feel like I need to get some, something, maybe I work 6 funerals, stack that money. I mean,
Facts. That's real.
Okay. Anything stuck out to you specifically as it relates to like a coaching practice that either Jerome or Louise did?
um, one of the things that Louise went back to that chart. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, he's really organized. He got that chart right up.
I only use two. I use the lion wheel when people are checking in on their like holistic wellness, and I
Mm-hmm.
use my habits to give people like homework or assignments. So those are the only two things that I use, and that's like what I kind of have built around for Feed the Lion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like I wanted to do it in real time so y'all can give me feedback on like whether it felt helpful or not, because it could feel very like we're going in this direction. So I'm trying to balance letting the person drive but being like pick one of these because we're not gonna be or Alicia hit what you got
Okay.
going on.
How did that make y'all feel, both Jerome and Dr. Khalid? Because he's asking about like, support in
I,
this area.
I like it because I like to have something to refer back to read. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I
I
Yeah.
enjoyed
did it. I did as well. I thought it was powerful when you're talking to your coachee and you're able to pull up. You know what I'm saying? That takes it to a whole nother level. You know,
Yeah.
and also it's very useful information.
Yeah.
I thought your wheel was excellent as well as your lion. I took a picture of it. I won't.
Yeah,
It
line
won't
habits.
pop
And no,
up
no, it's
anywhere. It
all
won't
good.
pop up
It's on the
anywhere.
website.
That's just
It's
for me.
pretty.
That's
It's
just for me.
accessible.
Yeah.
Y'all can steal it, borrow it, share it. The Lion Wellness is pretty much the life wheel. Like when I
Right.
was working on this, Mario had the life wheel. I was like, perfect. This is what I was.
Yeah.
So literally, we all just grabbing tools. And for me, I'm just like branding it. But a lot of this stuff is out there.
Yeah, and let me just also share that Louise has done all three of the coaching program.
Okay.
The 30-hour, the coaching for business, and as well as the 100-hour one. And
It's
so like
evident. It's
was
evident.
yeah, it's definitely evident, and I'm just so proud of you. And it shows like part in the coaching business piece is really shaping that culture of your organization with those one pages that I mentioned to y'all cohort in the last week, like those handouts and everything. And Louise is a great handout type of coach. Really, really good resources and stuff. Drum, I want to mention something that was so good in your session, and I don't think that people really bring this out. And I don't want to also be like this is a good thing, but I also don't want to be offensive, right? In terms of stereotyping. But I want to really say this because I think that we don't do this enough. And y'all let me know how it lands. I think that oftentimes, like when there's like this sometimes when people think of like an ultra masculine man, right, they feel like that they can't be emotional. And instead, what I saw in this coaching conversation that like you come off as a very masculine person, right? Like your voice, the beard, you know what I mean? Like Mr. Clean, the black version. Like you really come off that way, but you have this presence, that's this confidence in your masculinity, right? And because of that, there's this part of like when people are like this on this part of the spectrum of super masculine, they could be considered a protector, right? And I don't think that oftentimes people understand how much of when you feel that you are being protected, that also translates to being safe and also translates to having trust. And that's what also translates to you being emotional, like somebody being able to be in an emotional, vulnerable state with you as a coach. So in his notes, I put that you are literally an emotional centered coach, but the way in which you do it is not a traditional way, right? Where for me, well, I don't think it's traditional, but I am a nurturer. So I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? I'm almost about to cry with the person, that's me, right? Whereas for you, it was like, I saw the shift. I noticed that. And I'm also
Mhm.
creating a boundary. I'm also creating a space to protect you while you're in that space so that you can be emotional in that. As you continue to build your practice, I think that will be really, really strong for you as a person because you're approaching yourself. You're an emotional centered leader from a completely different approach and from an area that has really been attacked in these past few years, right? Like with the toxic masculinity, you know what I mean? And so like, I would say that it could be easy for somebody to think that you come off that way and then have a flip in their brain, right? It's somebody said this yesterday that I am they're coming for cheese, but I'm feeding them broccoli, right? Because because broccoli is healthier, right? And so it's like they think they're coming like, oh yeah, Mr. Deal is this, and then all of a sudden you see all these people crying in your office or something, you know what I mean? Because of how you are actually able to show up. So I wanted to share that with you because I think that perhaps like what would it look like for us to continue to shape this over the next few weeks during our intercession piece. What are your thoughts when I say that? I saw that Louise and Dr. Kalia.
I wanted to
Yeah,
shout you out for
yeah,
your ability to name an observation and keep it on the coachee to do what they want to do with it. Like, hey, I noticed this.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go here, you want to go there. Like, is this what's going on? And it's real. Like, she really did start with like money, and then it's like, you know what? Like, I'm a good. Like, I think I don't know. Maybe I'm making assumptions, but it's like it really became about something completely different.
Yep.
And it was like I left feeling good. Like, I'm a good friend. I'm doing the right things.
Mm-hmm. 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 Dr. Klee and then Jerome, I think, yeah, what you feel about it, but yeah. Yeah.
Talking about my father makes me
Mhm.
emotional
Mm-hmm.
because I love my dad so much. So
Mm-hmm.
even to name that, and I'm kind of glad you did, because on the way to school, I almost cried because I missed him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Mm.
Yeah, so good.
I appreciate your feedback, Mario. I really do. I consider myself. I have, the career. I'm in education, but I really centered my entire from a teacher on building authentic relationships. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's real to me. And I think the way that you build those authentic relationships is finding a place where you can connect with somebody.
Yeah.
And this experience, this opportunity, this coaching academy has really helped me blossom in that area. You know what I'm saying? It's giving me tools and strategies and also some of the science behind what it is that I've been doing, but I haven't been able to name it. You know what I'm saying? So this has really, like, this has been a personal journey for me, a hugely deep, like finding myself. You
Yeah.
understand? Like, and through that, I've been able to support and help other people, which brings me ultimate joy. Ultimate joy. So thank you for naming that. I never consider myself an extra masculine individual. I can definitely see how society would view me. You know
How
what I'm saying?
society will view. Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
I mean,
So
also, I think I don't want to speak for Mario, but I think I'm a gay man. I pick up on like people's level of masculinity. So for you, there's just me like this is just the space you walk in.
Yep.
But I agree that you're like super masculine, but at the same time super soft and sweet and
Yep.
amazing, and that's what we need more of. So
Yeah, we do.
I love
We
it.
really
I
do.
appreciate y'all brothers for that,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate you. Dr. Canada, I
Yeah.
appreciate you
Yeah.
for your vulnerability, sweetheart. Really. That's
Yeah.
real. That's
It
real.
was.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
This is good, you all. This is very good. I am
So my
just.
question is, we got to link up and get on another coaching
I
call
know
together.
y'all do.
We can't
The
Y'all
get one and
do.
same
done.
crew,
We
Yeah.
can't
Mario,
get
make it
one and
happen
done.
because we got to make up the
So
one from yesterday. So